It is the fortitude of the delinquent who looks deep beyond the vast surface of the earth and says, "This is not round, but it is flat. And in knowing that the earth truly is flat, I can ascend beyond any frontier, for it simply requires one step to go into the gate of the universe and bask in the eyes of the immortal dragon at the center of it all and say, I was birthed on a coin, and when it flips, I will be neither head nor tails, but I will be on its side, seeing you and loving you forever." Welcome to the Matt Hocker Show. I'm Matt Hocker, and there's a lot of Matt Hocker here in this sentence. Matt Hocker is part of the sentence experience here, and this is going to be a continuous sentence with no periods whatsoever. So for those of you who are deaf and are reading the written version of the Matt Hocker Show, pay attention to the fact that there's no periods, and quite frankly, there's not really a slowdown between the statements I'm making. And you'll also notice that when I say statements, I don't mean statements as in individual sentence statements. I'm talking about a full-length conversation between me and me that just goes on and 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 I've been a little gassy lately, I'm not gonna lie. I've been farting around town, little poots here and there, just around, so to say. And I met someone who had a similar problem to me. His name was Poopington the Fartskeen Third, and he told me basically that it's okay to fart around as long as you don't fart down. And I said, well, what happens when you fart down? And then he said, watch this. And he punctured a hole into the earth with a single fart that basically shot into the earth's core and caused an explosion, destroying the planet entirely. It was terrifying and devastating. I had never seen anything like it. It warped me in ways that I couldn't possibly profess on a podcast. Of course, fortunately, I was watching all of this through his eyes, and after everything had finished up, I realized I was seeing an experience in his own mind that he had created, an illusion, a fabrication, a painting on a curtain, the mirror within a daffodil, the quack of a duck, the roll of a die, the bottom of a cup of water where there's like a little hair in it, and you're just trying to discern what are the secrets of that individual hair. That's what I experienced there. And it was enlightening as it was, like I said. I had an onion bagel yesterday. It was good. It wasn't bad. It was an all right onion bagel. The thing about onion bagels is that they're oniony. If I could get rid of the onion out of the onion bagel, I think I would enjoy the onion bagel, but I know that's not really something that can be done. And I mean, it's not so much that bagel, I dislike the taste or flavor of onion. It's just that when you say onion bagel, it's just kind of long. I just want to say bagel, but have the onion on it. Like, I want to go to the store and say, I want a bagel, and they know I want an onion bagel, and bagel. That's it. That's that. I have it. I'm set. And it's this whole thing. I don't want to have to say, 4 syllables. That's ridiculous for amount of food. I mean, hamburger, that's 3 syllables. French fries, 2 syllables. Onion bagel is 4 syllables. Think of some common foods you're getting at the store or at the restaurant. You're never going past 3 syllables. Eggplant, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Spaghetti, 3. Sketty, 2. Whisker shower sauce, 1. Really straightforward. Who can forget fried rice? 2 syllables. Egg fried rice, 3 syllables. Chicken to egg fried rice, half a syllable. Chicken egg fried rice lo mein with a hint of duck sauce. We are entering negative syllables here. That's the kind of stuff I want to see when I go into a restaurant. I don't want to see more than 3 syllables. I want 3 or below. I want to get so deep into the syllable action of non-action that when I ask for my meal, I go something like, no, or, or maybe even, and they know exactly what I want. Because a true restaurant or store or grocery store or food market or mom and pop store or mom and pop chain or food distribution center should know that when you're asking for a meal, you're asking from the heart. You're not asking like some sort of machine who can just spit out long word phrases that involve a number of syllables that just equate to nothing. You're asking for a feeling. Because food is a feeling. It's not some robotic essay written by Al Gore. It's peaceful. It's an essence. It is a river from the youth trapped within your body, your inner child. When babies are hungry, they don't go, "Mother dear, I would like the escargot go get me." They go, "Meh," or "Wah," or "Yeah," and sometimes for long periods because they don't believe in the syllable. They've removed it entirely from their vocabulary, and quite frankly, it is insulting and it is rude and wrong that we instill these syllables into our youth, that we teach them to make long words with sound combinations that aren't needed. If we all just went back to basic boy sounds, we'd be fine. We'd be good. We'd be set. But instead, we tell babies things like tomato. Well, what does that even mean? Tomato starts with a toe and ends with a toe? Why? What's the point? What's the may? May what? May toe? Toe may? May toe? It doesn't make any sense. It's just an endless word. And all that leads you to is this juicy red thing. How am I supposed to comprehend a juicy red thing as a tome or a may-toe? Why couldn't it just be a no, or a may, or no? It could just be that, and you'd be done. You'd move on from it. Or a may. It would be easier. Or a meh, or a bleh. It could be anything like that, and it would be easy. But no, we just gotta throw syllables together. And, God, it just, I mean, like, in tomato, toe is the pre and the sa. It's the pre-sa. And that just goes into the whole car thing. No, the Prius, is that just a way to connect to the tomato? Is a Prius vehicle just a car that leads you to the ultimate tomato, the tomato king? And then he looks on you and he says, "My child, you have found me, the tomato king." And you go, "King Tomato, why is your name so strange?" And then he looks at you, and then for some reason everything gets blurry red like you're in a David Lynch film, and he goes, "Tomato." And you wake up and it was all a dream, and you pull the bedsheet off, but your lower half is just one destroyed tomato, and it's terrible. And this is what we do to children. This is what we do to our kids. It's awful. And then you go back to the Tomato King in the real world, crawling, tomato pus just dripping out of your underside, which you also ate along the way because you were hungry. And no one wanted to give you food. You were disgusting. No restaurant would accept you. And you go, "Tomato King." And he goes, "Yes." And you go, "Why? Why would you do this?" And then he goes, "Tomato." And then Showtime picks up the show for another season, and it never ends. It just keeps going. Bagel. I'm tired. I am gonna go to sleep. And welcome to the Game of Games. I'm your host, Matthew Hocker. Oh my goodness, look at you. Wake up, Matt. It's time for the game of games.
Okay, yeah, sure. What do we? What's the game plan?
Well, it's quite simple, actually. I'm going to need you to do 1 million push-ups.
Okay. Yeah.
There's not a lot to be said about checkers. I don't really see a lot of discussion on checkers anymore, and it's quite baffling to me personally. I think checkers is an iconic game of the 1990s, and quite frankly, it is a byproduct of some of the more divisive proponents of that time. I mean, really, when you sit down and think about it, checkers was a symbolism for race wars of the earlier era. And it's a very sad thing, quite frankly, that we all sort of indulged in checkers during that time. You know, Grandma and Pop-Pop were sitting down with you trying to indoctrinate you into their very racist and wrong ways of thinking through checkers. I mean, in honestly, it wasn't just racism, it was also sexism too. Nobody ever queened you in checkers. They tried to king you. And that's actually why chess was made later on, and the queen was actually the dominant piece. Chess, you see, was a byproduct of feminist focus in the early 2000s to counteract some of the more problematic of aspects of checkers. Unfortunately, however, the feminism that brought forth chess was first wave feminism, which really didn't make itself aware of race issues and race concepts. So it still had the sort of, you know, black versus white construct, whereas checkers was black versus red. The whole point I'm getting at here is that checkers and chess aren't really racially aware. And that's why the Chinese made Go. Now, Go is a classic game that just involves little pebbles, basically. And you might be thinking, Matt, wasn't Go also a representation of the systematic racial ambivalence toward others? And I would go, why would you ask that? That's a bad question. And that's a dumb question. No, because the name was Go. It started with a G as opposed to a C. And that's it. Because checkers and chess both start with a C and then an H for the ch. And then they also have an E for the che. And Go is just Go. I mean, the colors don't matter because it's Go. There were no racial implications or sexual implications or sexist implications. It was just Go. You know, just go. Get on out of here. You're out. Go. Get out of my life. Just leave. Go. I don't want you in my home, son. I don't love you anymore. I hate you. Son, you mean nothing to me. I don't like your art. You're worthless to me. You didn't even come out of my loins, did you? You probably came out of some other man's loins. There's no way you came from me, boy. You're nothing to me. You're garbage. You're the trash that I eat at night. You're literally a TV dinner box, except I don't want to open you. I just want to leave you in the fridge so you mold, and then I throw you out, child. You're garbage. And I would go, Dad, you use child, which is the ch sound like checkers and chess. And then he would beat me ruthlessly. Those were some good What kind of last name is Wiener? Where did that come from? Wiener. I've been having some trouble with last names lately, mostly because I don't know how to spell. But sometimes when I look at a last name, I just get irrationally sad. Like when I look at the name Wiener, I just see Wiener, and there's a lot of things that are just sort of amiss with that name. For example, like there's this the beginning of it. It's we, like we. Ween. You know, and it just, I don't know. And then the last part is her, like wean her, like we in her. That's what wiener sounds like we in her. It just sounds like a really unfortunate situation. I mean, I don't really need to illustrate that for the folks at home, but I mean, the point I'm trying to get at here, it's a gangbang. That's what that name is. It's a bunch of dudes with someone that identifies as a her. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be a bunch of dudes. It could be a bunch of anyone with someone that identifies as a her or a like an maybe it's an error, like the beginning of an error, like we in error. I mean, it may not even be a gender thing. I might be overthinking that. It could just be like we in error. But then I guess it would be wienerer. But I guess if you're a wienerer, then you're a wiener that errs. Like, what is it? More wiener then? Is it? There's just a lot of complications with a name like Wiener. And then also, is the I mean, was the name originally like Ween? And then someone was like, well, I wiener. You know, like they're more ween. Well, I'm weenist. And maybe that's how names are created. Like my last name is Hocker. So maybe like my great-great-grandfather met a guy named Hock, and he was like, oh, I Hock better than the rest of them. And then he murdered them. And then he said, well, I Hocker. And so now my last name is Hocker. That is a possibility. I'm not trying to rewrite history here or, you know, break into science club and, you know, throw some chemicals together. But this is just how I'm seeing things right now. This is just what I'm looking at. This is just how I'm, you know, sort of processing it all together. I think generally names that end with an are names that are by people who destroyed other people whose names didn't have the I mean, like look at Junior, for example. Anyone that's named Junior is probably out to kill one of their parents who has the original name. Like if your name is, I don't know, Junior, you're probably going to kill Junior, who was trying to kill Junior June, who was trying to kill Junior, who was trying to kill June. And it's a whole terrible cycle. And these are some of the byproducts of humanity. It's rough. It's risky out there. And that's why I recommend just alleviating yourself, removing your genetic code, just sort of stripping it away. Just take like a toothpick and just dig in there and just start, pecking at it. But I would recommend, though, before you do that, let it bake for about 20 to 25 minutes, pulling it out of the oven for a second, put the toothpick in to make sure it's not gooey. And then if there's nothing coming off the toothpick when you pull it out, just go ahead and rip the whole thing out. But at that point, it should be fine. That's my recommendation. The reality is, frankly, if you know someone that has a last name, they're probably out to get someone else. And it's up to you to decide if you want to warn that person. But this is also a cycle of life kind of thing. And we can't really underestimate that. I'm not sure if we should challenge this sort of cyclical nature of the human form. I don't know if we should try to break it down more than what it is. It's killing killing the before the the beer. They're trying to kill the beer and just remove the beer or the before. Just get rid of them. That's what's happening there. And I wanted you to know that. And that was me. That was that thing. Oh God, now I have to kill my dad. I'll be right back. This is it. The last ending. This is the doomsday ending. This was the outcome of your listening today. You chose the path and you got here. In the Matt Hocker podcast adventure station, you went down the wrong way. You made the wrong choices. Unfortunately, there's no going back from this sort of situation. I gave you some options and hey, you got to this ending. I'm not trying to knock you. It's just where you're at. It's okay. I'm now going to do the rest of the episode in a New Jersey accent, just to, get you there. So basically, to sort of, calm it all down a little bit, I'm just here to let you know this is the end. You ain't getting past this. You're done. See? You're out. You get it? You know what I'm saying? This is kaput. Capiche? You're gone. I ain't trying to be some kind of mean guy. I'm just trying to say, hey, you're out of here. Now, the Matt Hocker Show is coming to an end. This is it. But I just want you to know that you can follow me on Twitter, on Facebook, and you can also follow me on Patreon. I got that stuff. It's in the description. You'll see it. It's good. It's bada bing, bada boom. Mwah. Amazing. Anyway, y'all have a good one. That was my accent. Thank you.